enriched. No, attitude is a forerunner of all results. If your mind is in the right place, I'll share an anecdote. The father came from work. After a hard day's work, he tried to rest and read his paper. But his 2-year-old kid kept bothering him. So he took the paper and he tore it into bits and gave it to the kid. On that picture was a map of the world. On the paper was a picture of the world. So he thought the kid will take a long time to put the world together. In a few minutes, the kid was back at the father with the map of the world put together. And the dad couldn't understand how quickly this little kid, 2-year-old kid, put the world together, the map of the world. So he asked the kid, he said, how did you do this? You see, on the flip side was a picture of a man. So he put the picture of the man together. So the moral of the story is, if the man is all right, his world is all right.
That is smart.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, so it goes back to being solid within yourself, solid of content, and that you're putting out your best foot forward every day, living a positive life, feeling enriched within yourself, that you're giving everything that you give every day, to where when your day ends, you can say you did your best today that you possibly can give, whatever the direction is.
It's a personal drive, I think, that each person has.
Yeah.
Whether they have it a little bit or a lot, I think that makes a big difference, because I know for us, the drive that we have really to help in the community on this island is huge for what we want to do.
Yeah.
And it's not just at this island, but it's every island around us. But yeah, we have a huge workload.
Yeah. Starting with Joni checking the camera, making sure we're still running. Hey guys, this is real life. I keep saying that every time. It's real world. We're just having some dinner. We still running over there?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, we're good. So we don't need a cameraman. This isn't a set.
More pasta?
Yes, I will. Okay.
Since you're in the
Reloading?
corner.
So, some of the other topics Michael is able to explore and explain to us is his perceptions of his travels, just the different places he's traveled throughout the world, and how he touched on it briefly about how America is so different, and specifically Hawaii.
America is so young.
Yeah, so young, right? So every country you've traveled through, Europe, through India.
Europe has so much history, thousands of years of history. Athens, Greece, the Roman Empire. The government we have today in America comes from Rome.
Not only that, but we forgot to mention that Mike is a history buff as well. So he loves traveling. When he does travel, he's exploring everything further from what he knows and what he's experienced and what he's studied, and then exploring deeper. So this really brings a very important point. Is I've noticed this throughout my life of just 41 years, that when I come back and reflect against something else from 10 years ago, from 5 years ago.
So you were just born when I came
Just
here.
born, I'm telling you, yeah. I wasn't even born yet. How many of us were born at that time? Hardly any, right?
Baby.
Yeah. So this just brings up a good explanation of perspective. Really, it's the wisdom. And what I always try to explain to people is information creates knowledge. Knowledge and experience create wisdom.
That reminds me now.
There you go. Okay, we're back in action. Here
I'm
we
going to
go.
ask you all, is knowledge power?
Absolutely.
Partly right.
See, I've heard this before.
Touche.
I pause.
Knowledge is potential power. Knowledge is potential power. Applied knowledge is true power.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How many people get a degree and then let it go to waste, not doing what they've done academically? Before there were colleges and before there were resumes, people experienced college or university to share minds, all the way back to the days of Greece, right?
Oh, yes.
So people used these forums to explain thoughts and theory. And that's how the days of Aristotle, Socrates. These are all this is what universities became known now. Yeah, right?
No.
Hey, you should see this guy in a toga. He's the best, right? Can't beat the girls off. But yeah, so what we've developed is a way to bring that back. We've developed a panel to bring the community back together, to experience thoughts, to experience other people's experiences,
And
right?
that's what traveling does.
That's what traveling does.
It's so the knowledge you gain while you travel, you interact with the population of the local, wherever you're traveling, Europe, Asia. It's incredible. That wealth of knowledge you cannot get in any university, college, or library. That's why I encourage all young people. You know, I'm almost 80 years old now. See, I just told you my age.
You're still young.
So young. Is traveling itself is so educational. No matter what part of the world you go, you find the wants, needs, desires of the people are the same. We are all part of the humanity. And it's, I just personally find that traveling opens a whole horizon. So I encourage every individual, young, old, while you're young, do it. Travel the world, see places, interact with the local population. That education is
It's
worth
uncomparable.
$1 million.
Uncomparable or
There's no price to it.
Incomparable.
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 It's not comparable.
It is not comparable. And I can relate to that. I remember
I think
my
that's
old
the
days.
wine.
Yeah, not yet, but it will be. But I remember my old days, you know, when I was deployed and when I'd go places, you'd see other countries, you'd see other conditions, you'd see other people. And the one thing I explained to everybody that I crossed paths with that said, you know, what is it like in other countries? I just tell them, it's just like everywhere else. There's always just a degree of difference. It doesn't matter if it's Japan, Philippines, Guam, Australia, Iraq, Afghanistan, Germany, it doesn't matter. There's always just it's the same everywhere you go, but there's a degree of difference, and that degree of difference is culture, right? Culture.
And you find that in any race, any culture, there's goodness.
Yes.
There's goodness in every culture.
Absolutely.
So this is how I told my sons are 58 and 54, my granddaughters are 30 and 25. I've ingrained in them when they're very young how to live your life is to extract the goodness out of each culture and enrich your life. Look at the similarities, not the differences. We dwell on the differences.
Yeah.
But when we look at the similarities, we have so much in common.
That comes back to positive thinking and negative thinking, right?
Yeah, you get into an elevator and there's silence. Or you could sit at a restaurant across the table with a stranger and there's silence. Once you get to know the person, the silence is broken and there's very healthy conversation.
And all it really takes is extending out the want to be involved in an exchange.
Reaching out, yes.
That's one thing I love to share with you is, and I explained it to Joni a couple times, in the military, you see it more in the military than you see in any other community. There's always a degree of culture anywhere you go. Well, the military culture just happens to be we all raised a hand, we all stepped forward to serve. And whenever you see somebody else in uniform, I could be, when I was serving, I could be in downtown Honolulu and I see somebody else in uniform, I instantly connect with them because we know that we both share that culture, right? And
the common, I'm trying to search for the word.
It's the commonality amongst
Commonality.
people. Right.
We live in a great big world. Can I say something religious here?
Sure.
we would like to say that there's a lot of religious and political views out
But
there,
it's very educational.
but it's very educational. So yeah, we would love to share any bit of your knowledge.
Blessed Mother Teresa of Calcutta made a statement. Are we spiritual beings trying to be human? Or are we human beings trying to be spiritual? Sounds confusing? Yes. But it's not confusing. It's a very simple answer. We are born with the spirit of the Creator. But it's a humanity in us that's lacking.
Yes.
And this is why we have so much problems. All kinds of problems. Because the humanity is lacking. We can't be humans. Yet we are part of the human race. But, so that's my,
Yeah.
but I was going to go back to the goal setting.
Yes, let's return to goal setting. Why not?
There
Would
are
you
two
like some
parts
wine?
to it.
Yes, I would. We are off tonight, everybody. We got an Uber waiting for us on the way out of this one, so trust me.
We're not gonna drink and drive.
We are
Or
having a
we'll
great
wait.
time, and we are loving.
You're still in your first glass.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm a stroke coach.
Yeah.
We'll see.
There are two parts to goal setting.
Sorry.
Thank
Do you know that?
2 parts to goal setting. What are the 2 parts to goal setting?
Okay. One is you set a goal. The second part is how to achieve that goal.
Yep.
Of course.
See, a lot of people will set goals, but no fault of theirs, they don't know how to approach to achieve that goal. So there are 2 parts to it. You set a goal, then you work towards achieving it.
It's like New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
Continue.
And that takes the strength of your mind. So when you set a goal, you see, a lot of people set goals. I want to live in a beautiful home. I want to drive a Mercedes. I want to drive a Rolls Royce. Or I want to do, I always tell people, set goal, shoot for the moon with the feet on the ground.
Yes.
Yeah.
Needs to be achievable.
Right.
So-
Needs to be real.
But it's good people have that
The thought, the
Sort of-
creativity,
of-
the want.
yeah.
Imagination.
Yeah.
But they compromise on the goals. When the going gets tough, instead of driving a Rolls Royce, they drive a jalopy,
Yeah.
or whatever you would call
A
it.
jalopy, yes.
Well, that's a long time I haven't heard that. That's old school.
Jalopy.
That's some old school right there.
So I was going to say a Volkswagen, but I don't know offend anybody.
Yeah. They might be driving one right now.
So we compromise on our goals, and I would advise people. It is said that a man holds opinion, but a commitment holds a man.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, that is.
That is huge.
So when
Once
you
you
make a
commit.
commitment,
You need to hold to
it's
it.
a different ballgame.
Yeah.
So at a very young age, when I came here, how do you get propelled into action? Action is the key word. No matter what kind of goal you set or what kind of idea, if you don't get into action, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. So how do you get into action?
I say make a plan.
Yeah, it's me. Build a plan.
Yeah, but the plan can be written and put on a shelf.
That's your part
So it's
2, right?
accountability.
That's
How
number
do you-
2.
How
Number
do you
2
keep
is
yourself accountable?
yeah.
Yeah,
Have a plan and then
Action.
I'll help you. A goal has to be something that pulls you. It's a strength of the goal, not just a goal, it's a strength that propels you into action.
the desire, right?
If your goal is not strong enough to get to point A to point B, it will be hard. In the morning, we all don't get out of bed, jump out and say, oh, it's going to be a great day, I'm going to work. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And I kind of wake up and I'm like, oh, I gotta get up.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
roll
I'm
out of
gonna
bed.
go to work. But if your goal is strong enough, that'll propel you into action.
Yeah.
And what do I mean by the strength of a goal? For one, it has to be meaningful to you. And I was helped when I set a goal. I was helped by a young lady, a Hawaiian lady. We worked together, and she was a graduate of University of Hawaii. I will not mention name for privacy. But I was helped, and she made the suggestion about goal setting. We're discussing goal setting. And she knew how devoted I was to my son's education. I had 2 boys, she knew my 2 boys. Everything I did in life at that time was to educate my, that's the whole purpose I came to America.
Yeah,
To open
education.
doors to my sons.
Right.
They were 12 and 14, now they're 58 and 54. So they'd have an opportunity. So I dedicated my goal for my son's education. Now I could not compromise now. I made a commitment.
You did.
Remember, a commitment is something that holds a man?
Yeah, it holds you.
Yeah, and that held me. That is why I succeeded in Hawaii, and at one time I was owner of 7 properties. Came from nothing. But it hadn't been from, what I'm sharing to you is life's experience. I did that. It's not something I read in a book. I'm talking to you about goal setting. It can be done.
Yeah.
But you have to believe and then engage in the activities. For 3 years, I did not sit on the table with my 2 sons and my wife, God rest her soul, to have dinner. For 3 years. Because I'd leave home at 7 in the morning, I'd come home at 10 o'clock in the night.
Wow.
I was doing a management course. I'd work till 5, then 5 to 10, I'd be studying for a management course. So I made a sacrifice in that sense. Where I formed a mastermind alliance with my wife. So I'll share the mastermind alliance. Where 2 or more people are working in perfect harmony for the attainment of common goals. So our goal was what? To educate my 2 sons.
Right.
So my wife understood that. She was my support. She was my support group, one person. But she
Can you explain that again for everybody? This is
This is really important to listen to.
this is what he explained to us right before this video. He broke it down to us and reminded us about the Mastermind Alliance, correct?
Yeah.
And as soon as we heard that, we immediately reflected from since November up until now. We are now a full-fledged nonprofit organization. We now have a following. We now have people that are willing to come to us for education. You want to talk about gratitude and greatness. We feel very grateful and we feel full of gratitude that people are willing out there to. And what Michael expressed to us, it came full circle to me right before this, where I'm actually getting goosebumps. That we achieved it. And when you can achieve this, it's immeasurable. When you can achieve this level of thoughts and this level of effort and energy, anything's achievable.
But I also think it's understanding. It's understanding the other person, because when you have that goal, the common goal of raising your kids and education is important, your wife understood that you had to go to work.
There's
and
a
then you went to
long-term
school.
goal. There's
Yeah.
a long-term, there's the long road, right?
Yeah.
So can you explain to us the mastermind again?
Definition of mastermind alliance. Where 2 or more people are working in perfect harmony for the attainment of a common goal.
This is out of your own thoughts, correct? This is something you've achieved.
This is Michael's words.
Yes.
And that can apply to anything. Your work, your sports, your family life, husband-spouse relationship, anything.
Right.
This philosophy is not mine. It's borrowed from a person called W. Clement Stone. He is the president of the company I work for. I became his astute student. Unfortunately, he died, Clement Stone. But he wrote a book called Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. And the logo of our company was PMA, Positive Mental Attitude. So if the mind is right, the man is right.
We're back to where we were.
Everything
Yeah.
starts with attitude.
Yes.
You got to have the
Mindset.
right approach.
Positivity.
And when you do the right things and you share your goals, help will come from known and unknown sources.
Yeah.
Very
Oh
true.
man. You want to talk about life coming back at you and then approaching you when you're least. People
It's pretty
call
cool.
people call it faith. People call it, and You know, I was born under faith, and people call it faith. People call it miracles. People call it any type of religious, or some people just say it's fate. Some people say it's just a crap shot. But when you really put it against hard facts, the more you put out there and the more you put energy out there to the world, energy will return to you. It's a full circle. You know, a really, really great person I knew in my past, Crispy Cassiano, if you ever are watching this, please chime in and say hi. The biggest thing you ever experienced with me while we were deployed in Iraq, it still sticks with me today. And remember,
You were in Iraq?
oh, I was in Iraq 2003 to 2004.
Oh.
So, yeah, 20 years of the military, you know.
Thank you
that's
for your
good.
service.
Hey, thank you. You know, of course, thank you very much for that.
Because I come from a military family. My two brother-in-laws,
That's right.
my son is a Air Force vet.
That's right.
So, oh no, I can understand that.
Yeah. So what Crispy explained to me back then was, as we were experiencing a whole new culture, a whole new way of thinking, of it completely exposed to, you know, because life of a military policeman, you're on the street every day.
Yes, nice.
Do you want some?
Would you like more
That's
sauce?
fine.
Okay.
I'm just slow.
The biggest thing Crispy would always tell me is life is a circle. And I lived under that. And you got to think of that concept. Life is a circle. That means that it doesn't matter where you are in the circle, whether you're up here living great or you're down here living rough, it's a circle. If you put out the same positive energy in any aspect, it will return to you. Sometimes tenfold, sometimes at least
Can you
equal.
get that book called Successful Man?
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting
That's
some.
also karma.
Now when you mention,
Yeah, and
It's
karma.
karma.
People call karma as well.
when you mention life is a circle,
Yes.
and you just bring the whole thing.
Got it.
There you go. We're gonna go there and
Yes, we'll go there.
but since you mentioned life,